It moves! So I spent part of today making a video in PyMol of the protein I'm studying for a research talk and also for my thesis defense. Eek! Um, and so I wanted to show you how I made it and how you can make movies, simple movies of your favorite proteins and structures um, and that sort of thing. So it's a follow-up to yesterday's post where I introduced you to PyMol, which is this free software that you can use. And so it looks kind of like this. It's a little scary looking, but it's not that bad. And I want to show you how you can just play around and make a simple movie and align structures and that sort of thing. And so yeah, so look at yesterday's post if you haven't or if you're not familiar with PyMol yet. And I will also direct you to their. I will also direct you. There's this great PyMol movie school on the PyMol wiki, where they have tutorials and examples, and it's really helpful. And this is how I got started learning this sort of thing. And so yeah, so I'm not like a PyMol expert, but I made that pretty video of my protein. And so here's how I did it. Okay, let's start by looking at what we're aiming for because I love this protein that I just want to show you. So this is Argonaut or AGO, and it's the protein that's involved with RNA interference, which is what I study and I've told you all about, and it helps regulate messenger RNA levels in the corresponding proteins. And so it has these 4 domains that I've colored it by, and so I start by showing how it holds on to the microRNA guide. So there's the 5' ends, and then this RNA snakes up through the protein to the 3' ends. Upon binding to a target, it undergoes this conformational change, so the shape shift where that PAS and end domain move, and then you can see that it binds in this like supplementary pocket as I showed you at the top and whatever. Okay, so yeah, I'm still working on it and I'll narrate it better and stuff. But this is the video that my draft video that I want to show you how I made. And so let's take a look at how. Oh, and also I'll link to post on RNAi because yeah, it's cool. Reminder of what we talked about yesterday. So when you open PyMol, you have this like command liney place, and then things are going to show up here. You have these button things which we'll look a little at later, which can deal with like movie things and like exporting figures. Over here, where this is going to be like our object and selection list, and you're going to have actions and showing things that you can do here, and our proteins are going to show up here. And you also on top you have like this toolbar with a bunch of things, and so there's a lot of different ways to do everything, and so I'm going to try to show you a few different ways to make a simple movie. And so the first thing we need to do is get our proteins. And so yesterday we worked with so fetch, and then I'm going to put the PDB code. I could also do file get PDB as we talked about yesterday. And so this is the structure of AGO bound to the microRNA. And so this is the one we dealt with yesterday. And so yesterday I showed you how we color it by domains and set all the things that we want. So I'm not going to go into detail on that. But I want to show you how I can align it to versions of Argonaut where it's bound to a short target and then bound to a target with seed and supplemental pairing, and the conformational change that occurs, as I showed you in that example video. So right now I only have a single protein, but I want to get those other ones as well. And so I'm going to fetch, so for W5R, this is the structure bound to this short RNA with just like the seed region. And so you can see that they're not in the same place. But So what we're going to do is we're going to align it. So we're going to use the green one, so just the guide. We're going to use that as like our reference point. So what we can do is, so either we can go over here, so we can do like align to molecule, and then we could press 4F3T and do it that way. Or we can type it out, align, and then so when you align, you want to put the thing that's moving. So we want to move 4W5R, comma, and then what we want to align it to, so 4F3T. Okay, and so now it did like a global alignment. And we're just gonna orient it. So it kind of just like did its best way to superimpose those two on top of each other. Later we'll show how we can do it a little fine-tuned because we know which part's moving. But first let's get that third structure. So we're gonna get fetch 6N4O, so here. And this is a structure of ego bound to a guide and a longer target that you can see there's the seed and supplemental region pairing. And you can also see that now our structure is like way apart from these guys. So we want to get them all together. So we're going to do what we did before, except now we're going to use 6N4O. And a great thing about PyMol is you can use the up key, the up arrow and like the down arrow and stuff. So when you put the up arrow when you're in this command line, it's going to go to your previous commands. And so now we can just change this. We want to keep it aligned to 4F3T, but now we want to do 6N4O. And once again, it's going to align them all. We'll just orient it, and now it's upside down. And so I'm just going to set the view to what we're going to set it later. Just a nice front view. Okay, so now we can see these three structures and what we want to do. So it's hard to see. So if you look, so they're in different colors right now. So this is just the guide, and then we have the short target, and then the longer target. And so what's actually happening is that this part over here is remaining pretty stable and this part's moving. So a global fit isn't the best thing, and instead we're going to want to fit it based on, we're just going to align this half, which are the mid and PW domains. And so what we're actually going to do first is let's just color those domains. Well, first I'm just going to so let's put on the sequence view. So we can do display sequence, or we could come down here and press S. And so now we can see we have the protein chains and we have the RNA chain, and there's some water and some magnesium and isopropanol and stuff. So or phenol. So I'm not going to explain this too much, but I just am going to hide that stuff that we don't want. And delete the waters. Okay, and so now those things are hidden and the water's gone, and that's all good. Okay, but now let's actually color the stuff we want. And so I'm not going to get too much into how I did this because I talked about it yesterday. But basically, when you select something, you can either do it selecting based on like typing it in. So I'm doing like, so I can select by like chain or object. And so that's what I'm doing with this. So I'm saying, if you look, you can see that this is the guide sequence, and for all of them, it's this B. And so I can select this. Now this should be 4F3T. Because I want to select them all as different objects for the different ones. Okay. So now I'm saying select this B and 4F3T, and name it name it guide RNA, and then color orange. And so now you can see it's the selection over here, which is that. And then I'll do the same for these other RNAs. So I'm naming them and making them objects and coloring them. So it's select, and then the name you want to give it, and then the thing. And so you can also, like if you were just to come over here and select something here, you can go to action and rename selection and make a selection that way, instead of doing it with the keys. Okay, so now I colored the RNAs, and now we want to color the proteins by domain, so the different functional regions. Oh, and I did something wrong. Okay, sorry about that. I realized I had a typo, so this would actually be SS guide RNA. And then I can color that. Okay, now we're all good, I think. Okay, so now we have the RNAs colored, and we have them as selections, so I can select them individually. And so now let's deal with the protein domains. So here I want to color them all the same color, and I'm not going to worry about making individual ones for each. So like all of the residues in the same way will be labeled, like the end domain in all of them will be one single selection. And since they're all this A, and then I do resi, and so when I do resi, it allows me to do the numbers. And so instead of clicking and dragging 1 to 140, I'm just going to do it this way, and I'm going to color it how I want. Okay, now you can see that it colored all of this. Okay, so now let's align it better. So what I'm actually going to do is align based on just this part instead of aligning based on the whole thing. So you can align like select based on the selection. So what I want to do is I want to say align 6N40 and mid-PWE. So I'm saying in 6N40 and mid-PWE. So like align that part to the mid-PWE of 4F3T. And this will give me a slightly different alignment. Maybe. Oh, I hadn't done that, sorry. So I need to make mid-PWE as a selection. So I'm saying, okay, if it's mid or PWE, then call that mid-PWE. And then I'm going to align it, and so this should still be in my command line. There we go. And so it's a slightly different alignment. And then I'll do the same thing, but with 4W5R. Okay, so now they should all be aligned. I'm going to go ahead and reset the view to where it was before. Okay, and now the alignment is better because it's based on this part that's stable between them all, and now you can better see the part that's moving, so like that PAS domain and stuff. So now let's get to making some movies. So there's different ways you can do this. Okay, so it's kind of messy here, so let's just look at a single structure. So if I like click on something, I can undisplay it. And so now let's just look at this guy. And so, okay. So we have different options. I'm going to show you later how I like to do it with scenes. But if you go up here, like on movie, you can like make a movie. So there's like these pre-programmed things. So if you want to do like a camera loop, so mutate, that's kind of like just like this weird rocky thing. So you can see this bar on down here that's like showing you have this movie thing. So like the default is like 30 frames per second, so you can set things by like how many frames or how many seconds and that sort of thing. So this is like the mutate. So movie, if you want to like yeah, you can also change that. Let's check the X rock. I think I might need to clear. Just do movie reset. Okay. And now we'll do movie. You can see, like, if you do X rock, you'll get, and then so you can have a movie play by pressing M play, or you can press like play. So this is rock, M stop, and you can also have like movie. So I think if I do like append and then display, or no, movie program, we'll do by roll. Oh, so I'm not exactly sure what I do because I'm not very used to using the, yeah, there we go. So now we're getting like our rock, and then because we like appended it onto the end, we'll then get our roll. And I'm not sure like the timing and stuff because, yeah, I don't really use those, but that is a way you can get a movie and then like see like these different things are like different like frames and stuff, and like different key points that it does this like interpolate. So right now it's on auto interpolate, which means like if I have different frames or that sort of thing, it's going to try to like make the smoothest way between them. And so that's going to come into play when we look at our scenes. So let's go ahead and we'll clear that. So like mclear, and then I think if you do like mset rewind, or if I went back to movie and reset it that way. Okay, so now I want to show you how we can do this with scenes. So let's start. We'll just deal with this guide structure, and we'll do that part first, and then I'll show you how we can then do the other ones. So for each of these, basically a scene is like a stored representation. Like, so it has like the coloring, the, like if it's ribbons or sticks or cartoons or whatever, and like the angles and that sort of thing. So I want to set up the scenes that I'm going to use. So we'll go back to that original view that we had. Okay, and now I want to show this, or save this as, so right now I'm here, like here, but so this is, I did it scripted, so I said to like hide everything and then show it as a cartoon, but right now it's already showed there. So now I'm just going to put scene G, so I'm saying store this as a scene, and name it G, and now it's going to show up down here. Alternatively, I could go up to movie and or scene and then like store, and then I could store it as like a function key. So yeah, I don't, because I do it mostly in the scripts, I don't really worry about that, so sorry. Okay, so now let's do it for the other states. So we have that for the guide bound. Now let's also do it for these other states. So we're just going to do scene GS for guide and short target, comma store, and then we'll do for this one. So again, you can use the up arrow to get to that key. Gene SS store, and so now I want to change the view. So I had saved the view that, so I could just like come and try to find the view, but I already set the view I like. And so if you're on a view, you can do get view, and it'll copy this into your paste. And then if you were to do like this, now you can go back to where you were before. Maybe, yeah. Get view. There we go. Yeah, it is going back. I just looked away too quickly. Okay, but right now I want to set it in like that angled front. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing. hopefully without problems this time. What is it doing? It's selecting the wrong thing. I don't know what happened there, but it's back. And so now if you do scene auto store, it'll update to your current scene. And you can also do like scene update. So yeah, I don't know why it did that, but we'll just fix these. Well, that didn't even work now. We'll do show cartoon for F3T, and then scene auto store. Okay, I'll have to figure out why that didn't work, because when I just copied and pasted it all, it worked fine. Okay, let me just set these settings that I want while I'm here. Okay, so basically, yeah, I just set the viewport, so it's like the size is going to create the movie, like the window size. Ray opaque background off. So I'm saying that I don't want it opaque, I want it transparent, which only comes into play when you're ray tracing. If you're just doing like the quick and dirty version, it'll just have the background color that you put, and I'm going to put background white. The specular just makes it so that it doesn't the specular reflections, so if I press it on, it's going to make it like these shiny stuff, which can cause some problems for when I'm trying to like look at color stuff. So I'm just going to turn that off. Okay, so now we did those two views. Now we're going to get the top view. So I'm going to set this. So I have this top view. And so this is going to be scene G top. I'll store that. And then we'll switch here. Scene GS top. Store, and then where did it go? Cartoon 1640. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why that's being weird, but gee, I think it was because I was doing it piecewise, but before it ran out all at once, so I was a little confused. Okay. So those are, so now if we can click through these scenes, say we have guide short, guide data, okay, now we have changed the view, have the binding, and now we have the top view. So if you go back to the movie, I don't have all of these scenes in there, but I wanted to have them for reference in case I want to make a different movie. So now I just need to do the zooms. So I'm going to zoom in on the 5' end, and I'm going to set that, save this as a scene. So I'm just going to call this scene cartoon 5 store, and then I'm going to go to the midpoint. So I just found a view. I've been like playing around and found a mid view I thought would make a good midpoint. And so I'm just going to that. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to scene cartoon midpoint store. So each time I do this, it's like showing up over here. And now I just need the 5' zoom. Okay. Here's the 5', and I'm going to cartoon, or sorry, the 3'. It's cartoon 3 store. Okay. So now we have these states. So you have a couple options if you want to animate. So if you go to like movie program, you can do like a state sweep or a scene loop, sorry. It'll go through like all of the different scenes. And so you could either have it like rocket each or just steady. So it's just like 1 second each. Let me just play this. And now it's gonna, it should go through, yeah, it's gonna go through each of the different states. And so it's interpolating, so it's like trying to smoothly go between them all. And so right now it's just doing it like as a constant speed, but I'm going to show you how we can set 2 different numbers of frames and put them in the order that we want instead of just like the order that they're in. And then it's going to like loop back to the beginning. But I don't want that. And then set rewind to get rid of all of that stuff. Okay. And yeah, I could also like, if you want to go back to the beginning, you can like press that. So we have these different states. And so like the frame rate, you can set the frame rate, but right now it's on 30 frames per second. That's what I have it saved on as well, or whatever way you use as well. And so to the command mset, this is how you like set up how many frames and stuff you want. It's gonna like start, like get the movie all set up kind of. And so we're gonna do 1, that's the state thing that you don't have to worry about. So 1 times 810, so I'm gonna do it 810 frames. And then so for each frame you can like store what scene you want. So I'm saying, okay, frame 1, and then I want it to be this scene, G. So it's saying, okay, so you have, sorry, I should have gone one at a time. So I said frame 1, so it's going, it says, okay, so setting is frame 1, and then mview store. So this is telling it what you want that frame to be. And so right now we're going to be scene equals G. And now we're going to go to frame 60. And so now you can see there's a new bar up here. And this is frame 60. And so we're going to say mview store scene equals cartoon 5. And then I also want cartoon 5 at frame 90 because I want it to stay there before it starts interpolating between to the next scene. So frame 90, and then mview store scene equals cartoon. And then I'm going to do this for all of them. And so I just played around until I got ones that I thought were nice. It's because it goes back to the beginning. I like to have it go back to where it started, so it does it more smoothly when it goes back. So to play this, let's go back to the beginning, and we can do mplay, and it'll start playing. And we can check it out and see if it's what we wanted. Okay. And then you can do mstop to stop it. It'll just keep going over and over. And then you have the option, so file, export movie as. And so I'm on a Mac, I'm doing QuickTime. It chooses this like FFmpeg thing. You can also do it as these different forms, or you can do PNG images. And so some of the free versions, I'm not sure, or if your computer doesn't have great processing speed, you can export it as images instead of a movie, and then compile them, or put them together like outside using like free software and stuff. There's a lot of different options. So you can set the size, and then you can set whether you want it to draw, which is faster but it's less crisp, or you can ray trace, which is slow, and it takes a lot of like, it can be really really slow, but that'll give you like the shadows and all of that stuff if you want that, and also make it crisper, and you can then have a transparent background, so you don't get the transparent background unless you ray trace, but that's going to take a long time. Yeah, so basically then you just export it, and then you have your movie.